we still actually have more mining companies than we do cannabis issuers. We also have obviously a lot of companies in the technology space generally. There was certainly quite a rush in the blockchain and cryptocurrency world a year or so ago. But in fact, this year, we will in all likelihood list more mining companies than cannabis issuers this year. There's been a real upsurge in activity with the increase of the gold price to, a few weeks back, it got over $1,550 US an ounce. And as I say, the machine really started cranking up to fund those companies.
You mentioned some of the companies that got in. Are there some names we would recognize that started with the CSE? People have heard the companies like Canopy Growth and Tweed and some of these other.
Right. Well, so Aurora,
Aurora
was a company that they were one of the first two, and Supreme Pharmaceuticals, which is also a significant brand in the cannabis space, started on us as well. We are also the home for all of the big U.S. operators, so companies like MedMen, Cresco, Green Thumb Industries, Harvest Health and Recreation, Curaleaf, which are very, very familiar names in New York and Chicago and Los Angeles.
Is that because American exchanges were reluctant to list those, or why do they end up in
Not
Canada?
even reluctant. They will not list them.
Okay,
yeah, that's right.
Because there's only a handful of states where it's legal, correct?
Growing,
like
and
Colorado
in fact,
and
well, I think it's
There's a fair
13,
number now.
13
now?
states with
Okay.
recreational programs, soon to be joined by Michigan, I think on Jan 1. Pennsylvania's along shortly. At this point, more than half of the population of the United States is in a legal for recreational.
States, but population-wise, it's getting
Well,
up
California all by itself
Yeah.
is bigger than Canada,
Right.
so that's a significant market, obviously.
Now, in your industry, how do you lock in those folks? Sooner or later, the U.S. might open up for that. Do you have a strategy for that? Is it, try to remember who brung you here, kind of hold on to them?
Well, we do spend a lot of time with our issuers of all kinds.
Yeah.
But understand, there are about 220 companies that are both listed in Canada and the United States. Now, the vast majority of them are Canadian companies which have chosen to list on NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange or the old Amex. But what you see is the majority of the shareholders of these companies are still Canadian. And so, yeah, they will obviously list in the United States when it becomes federally legal. And so our mission is to basically make sure that they retain the Canadian listing so that Canadian investors are able to continue to buy and sell these stocks in Canadian dollars through their Canadian brokerage account without any friction.
And do you know what percentage of the money invested into your exchange is American, or is that something you track even?
Oh, we have really good data in terms of where the money is coming into. And on a year-to-date basis, this year, in the cannabis space specifically, 50% of the money has come from the United States. And it tends to be very focused with high net worth investors, private equity folks that have specialty program to invest into the cannabis space, family offices, and some hedge funds. 30% of the money comes from Canada. And the remainder we see is split between Europe and Asia. Significant part of the overseas money is being channeled through London. And I was in the UK last week speaking at a cannabis conference and meeting with brokers and investors and companies that are looking to potentially list in Canada as well.